Hello everybody, it's me, Garrett. It's the Sunday after Thanksgiving. I hope everyone had a great one. Awesome, that's really good to hear. We had a pretty good Thanksgiving too. I messed my back up pretty badly. So I'm not getting around so well. So we'll see how I do, because at some point I'm actually going to have to get up to show y'all something. Okay, so we've got some whip updates, and some haul, and a finish. And, I don't know what else is in here. I think it's just that. Just some of that. Yeah. Yeah, just some whip updates, some haul, and a finish or two. So let's dive in with our Q&A. Alright. Vic Brenda Greer, I will be coming to yours in a moment. Vic Morg asks, when you finish a pattern, do you always wash it and iron on the backside before you frame it? Does it hurt hand-dyed fabric and floss to wash it? I will generally iron it, just to kind of get any sort of creases out. Although I don't generally have much, or a lot of creases. I don't generally wash it, though. Some hand-dyed floss and some hand-dyed fabrics are not color fast, and then they run, and then it looks bad. In fact, there's a video, if you go back to it, it's it's gonna be last summer. It's not the one we just had, but the one before that. I'd say video 38-ish. And you can see what happens when one accidentally got wet. Alright. Solar Stitches asks if that whole room I'm in is Wizard of Oz, and can we have a general tour? This is not. I have a bookshelf, I have a top of a little display thing, and a curio cabinet. That I'm not going to go. You'll see part of it today. You're not going to see all of it. No, this is our library, so it's a mixture of his stuff and my stuff. Unique Stitcher says, if you're starting a group for Alice in Wonderland, please add Melissa Olds. I'm not going to start an individual group for the Alice in Wonderland Brooks ornaments. There is an Alice in Wonderland stitching group on Facebook that's specifically for any and all Alice in Wonderland designs. So I'll obviously post there. Brooke has her own group, and then I've got Mania. So I don't really feel like that's one that needs its own. But it is there. Laura Sargent, it depends. If you're asking about this mug, the one that's black and white, she asked what color, where is my cup from? This one is actually made for me for my birthday a couple of years ago by an assistant of mine. And you're talking about the really big one. That one has Ursula all over it, and I got it at the Disney Store outlet on clearance for like $5. Let's see. Crafty Creative Claire, yes, I am a fan of the film. I think it has its problems, mostly related to Rob Marshall, and Disney, but I did enjoy the movie. And that's a really cool story. Darla Beckerson asks if Katie and I are related or friends. We are not related. We are just friends. She joined Stitch Mania, and we started talking, and it kind of went from there. And then she became an admin when my former two co-admins decided to abandon me. So that's not really the right term. There was a lot more going on, but the long and short of it was they left and she stepped up. So Kathleen's Trodden Trail asks what my job is. I work for a bank, and trying to explain what I actually do would take longer than I really want to spend. Soldier Stitching asked, did I get Pokemon Sun and Moon? No, I don't generally finish Pokemon games, so I've kind of quit buying them. Because really, for me, the best games were Red, Blue, and Yellow. So, Gen 1 all the way. Alright, so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this real quick, flip the camera around so that y'all can see what I'm going to show you, and then we'll come back. So, hang on. Okay, so as you can see, I got the Oz ornaments on the tree. This is actually our second tree, and I can't because my back bend too well to show you the rest. I've still got to get a tree skirt for it, so that's why there aren't better pictures on Facebook. But here is the Brooks Oz tree. So I'm gonna come back around and show you. Okay, so now we're back to me over here. Alright, so there you go. Yay, they're all done. Alright, so now I'm gonna show off haul. Okay, first, I won from a giveaway in Fabrics by LJ's group, South Seas Mermaid. And I'm planning to do that one conversion. I forget who did it, but it was absolutely gorgeous. So, South Seas Mermaid. So now I've got several mirrors to pick from in the new year to start. I got a lovely gift from Brooke of all kinds of perforated paper in gold and flesh and white and antique brown and silver. So this should just about cover me for, because let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I know I've got at least 2 more sheets, so that covers my Alice ornaments for next year, which I'm super excited for. So I got those. Let's see. Oh, where is it? My bag is not the neatest right now. But since I can't really bend, I don't need to be sorting things out on the floor like I normally do. And then my friend Erin did not like one of the fabrics she got in Stitchy Box, so she sent it to me. It says 32 count redwood from the cauldron. So it's very pretty. And I'm hoping that maybe it'll be able to be used during the Brooks Books Princess for 1 or 2 of those. But we'll see. It's going to really depend once they show up. And I'm trying to do all of those on the same general, not necessarily type, but at least the same count of fabric. So, there's that. Alright. And then yesterday I went to Stitch Niche to support them post Black Friday. I did very well financially. I didn't spend all that much. Alright, so let's see. I bought 2 Krynics. I bought 101 and 3202. 3202 is for the Brooks Alice in Wonderlands. 101 I got because I needed a little more silver and I needed it a little bit for snow for magical creatures. I bought 2 wools from Gentle Arts. I bought avocado because I needed it for magical creatures. And I bought toasted marshmallow thinking I might use it, but I think I've got something else I'm going to use instead. I picked up 2 regular Gentle Arts. I got Acorn and Adobe. So I'm trying to work my way alphabetically through. Alright, then I got 2 little freebie charts. One that's a Lizzie Kate that says Christmas 2006 on it. And this little Prairie Schooler freebie that's a little spooky house and moon. So, I got those. And then they had these cute little ornament kits that say Merry Stitchmas. And it comes in bright or muted. I opted for the muted. So, and it's everything but the finishing material. Or the little cording. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then I also bought a thing of a fat eighth of even weave. It's 28 count. She doesn't have a lot of even weave, but I think this will be really good because I've decided I really want to do the Soda Stitch fairy tales in the new year. So this one's called Raspberry Light. So it's just sort of a pale, slightly hand-dyed pink. Really very pretty. So that was that. Okay, so that was the haul. So I'll go back after Christmas with Christmas money, and we'll see what I get then. Okay, so as I said last week, Sarah and I were going to start and do Haunted Mansion together, but then she had more things going, and I honestly had other things I needed to work on, so I did start it, and I changed fabrics again. This is the new colorway from Witchelt. It's a Lugana, so that means all of mine are going to be done on 28 count even weave. I want to say it was called, like, it's Sage, like Summer Sage or something like that. So that's the pedal pusher. And then, on Thursday, when we went out doing Black Friday shopping, I pulled out the original red I had, and I switched to, Cayenne from Weeks Dye Works, and I think it's a better match. So we're going to do that in red, and that goes back to being the work project that hopefully I will actually finish this week. I've had to do so many things on my lunch break the last couple of weeks that I just haven't had any time to stitch. Alright, so then I finished Glinda, but we'll get to that in a second. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and finish out Magical Creatures. So I'm almost done with the trees, and then I've got the Yeti and a snowman in December. And then some snow under them. So probably we'll get this finished today. And then it'll be done. And then I'm going to go on to national parks. I'm kind of doing this whole let's get in the groove, let's get some things finished, so that next year I have more open spots. Because there are things that I really want to start that I just haven't been able to yet. Like another Mirabilia. But which one? We don't know. I'm sorry, I slurped. I apologize. Alright. So the next thing up is going to be Oz and my oral... My commentary on Glinda the Good, as well as a pop-up book. So, here is Miss Glinda the Good. I decided to use little pearl beads in place of most of the silver individual stitches, and then red beads to be like rubies. But I did still use silver for the crown. I used Ship's Manor again. I really love Ship's Manor silks. They are fabulous to work with. Also, shout out to Eric. He's doing another mystery sampler. This one is a town, and that sounds really awesome too, so I did sign up for it. And then this, the middle row of pink, that is Soie Cristal, which is also really nice to work with. That's the Karen collection. I will definitely get more of that. So here you go. All nice and sparkly. One of the things to note with Glinda is she's holding her book of records. And this is where we get into the discussion on Glinda. Glinda only features in the next to last chapter in the first book. And it's quite literally, at most, 9 pages. Some, depending on the size of the text, can be more, less, but generally, it's not a very long chapter. She she's briefly mentioned when Dorothy arrives in Oz, when the Witch of the North tells her that there are two witches in Oz, the ones in the north and south are good, and the ones in the east and west are wicked, and that the wizard lives right in the center. And Glinda is almost in some ways a god figure, because she knows and sees all thanks to her book of records, which records all of the events happening in Oz as they happen. So at any given moment, she can go look, and there it is. She's a much more dominant figure in the books than Billy Burke is in the film. She's more commandeering, she's more take charge. She turns herself into an eagle to fight Mombi in the Marvelous Land of Oz. She does even eventually teach the wizard some magic, and by her decree, she, Ozma, and the wizard are the only ones who can perform any actual magic in Oz, at least legally. So Glinda is a much more commanding presence. The witches in Oz wear white. That is their color. Specifically, the good witches. That ties into the women in white and the suffragette movement. Glinda is described as being her beauty betraying her because she's much older than her looks would have you believe. And eventually, she's the one at the end of the 6th book who creates an enchantment to protect Oz from the outside world. Which, of course, then, because Baum needed money, he found a way to circumnavigate, so that way he could find out more about their adventures. But that's another story for a whole other time. So that's why, and I know Kelly brought this up a couple of times about, well, Glinda's really the villain of the piece. And those articles are humorous. Don't get me wrong. They're pretty clever. But really and truly, Glinda's nowhere near the villain of the piece, especially in the book. I mean, in the book, she's not there in the beginning. She tells Dorothy, but not until Dorothy gets there and asks her. In the film, yeah, there's the argument, oh, well, when Glinda says, when they say, that's so easy. Why didn't you tell her that before? And Glinda says, well, because she wouldn't have believed me. There's a lot of people that poke at that and go, well, yeah, she would have. But the thing is Oz in the film is a fever dream. Glinda is not going to have the answer then. She might, but because it's Dorothy's dream, there's no answer there yet. It's not until Dorothy's ready to go home and wake up and has conquered the Wicked Witch of the West, who is her primary nemesis back in Kansas, that she can actually go home. She has to fulfill that and overcome her own problems with Miss Gulch before she can go home. She has to learn, because she learns before she gets to Oz. I mean, that, she's got to get home to Annie M, that Annie M really does love her, and that's where Dorothy needs to be. But because of the Miss Gulch-Toto conflict, if she goes back, Toto gets taken away. Toto gets put to sleep. So Dorothy has to conquer Miss Gulch in her mind, in Oz, before she can go back home. So I think it's incredibly unfair when people paint Glinda as the villain of the piece and put so much political motivation behind it, because it's a fever dream of Dorothy overcoming her own challenges in Kansas, in this magical fairyland. But that's just me. So, there you go. And obviously, the Glinda/Galinda in Wicked is very, very different from both the MGM Glinda and the book Glinda. Honestly, the Glinda in the book version of Wicked is closer to the Baum image. But if you really wanted a good representation, for those who aren't so inclined to read the books, of how Baum sort of envisioned and wrote Glinda, I would actually look at Cate Blanchett's performance as Galadriel in the Lord of the Rings films. That is much more the tone of Glinda than, really Billy Burke, but I still love Billy Burke. Highest paid member of that movie. So there you go. So, my thoughts on Glinda. Alright, we've got our last pop-up book of the month. This one is this one's a fun one, because it kind of combines my love for theater, too. Because you do have lots and lots and lots of text. But, the pop-ups create little scenes like that. So they're little bitty stages. And I just think that's so cute. So you get the tornado and the fallen house in Munchkinland. You can sort of see that. These are not the easiest books to share like that. Oh, come on. There we go. And like I said, there are some little side illustrations too, but mostly there's a lot of text. Because I think there's only about 4 actual pop-ups. You get the Yellow Brick Road. And then the Emerald City. Ooh. Of course, the Emerald City gates. And inside the Emerald City and the Wizard's Throne. Then a whole bunch of pages. There's the Melting Witch. And then finally, Dorothy clicks her heels and is back home in Kansas. So, I love the sort of theatricality of this little pop-up book. So it's a little fun when it was first, it's a British pop-up book, originally. So, yeah, so it's super cute. Anyway, that was kind of it. So I'm going to go try and finish up Magical Creatures. And then I'll start it back in on National Parks. So, I hope everyone has a great week. I hope those of you who were big Gilmore fans were pleased. I had a lot of issues overall, but I did enjoy it. But that's a story for a whole other venue. And I will see you all, and I promise, I will start eliminating down to what I'm actually going to do next year besides Pumpkin Passport and Alice in Wonderland. So, on that note, y'all have a great day.